We're miles away, but I can feel it, Marcus. And Tampa is where we start this train, where our shares of Evans and Godwin went down to the drain. You have those two studs. You even have Gronk, but you went to a slot receiver that was really quite redonk. So, Marcus, let me ask you, do you believe the hype? Because it turns out Tom Brady certainly has a type. Show me Scotty Miller.
Oh, boy.
I am on board with Scotty Miller this week. I mean, we're still waiting to see what happens with Chris Godwin. He's in the concussion protocol. Mike Evans was less than 100% last week. So we saw Miller get 6 targets. Henry Ruggs had success from the slot against the Carolina Panthers. And as you mentioned, he seems to be a favorite of Tom Brady's after 1 week. So I'm starting to buy in.
Yeah, it seems so cliche to be like, yeah, he's going to throw it to a slot receiver like he's always done. But, I mean, he's clearly doing it. It seems more annoyance than somebody that you can rely on each and every week. So that's okay. Let's shake it off. Let's shake it off. Let's shake it off. And let's go back to Monday, a little prime times, because there was a guy making music with our quarterback, Danny Dimes. And it makes me want to sing, take me down to the New York City where the game was bad, but he was pretty. Oh, show me Darius Slayton.
I am totally on board with Darius Slayton. That was interesting. I don't know how Axel's going to feel about that. But look, I was big on Darius Slayton in the preseason. I thought he had a sleeper potential. I was very surprised to see him go out and have that sort of game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But he and Daniel Jones have a connection. I mean, Jones has more passing yards and touchdowns to Slayton than anybody else on that Giants roster. And so that's encouraging for what could be to come for Darius Slayton there.
Yeah, I'm fighting off all these cease and desist letters, but you know what? I do like him. You know what? We were worried about his touchdown potential, that it wasn't going to be he wasn't going to be able to duplicate it again, but it certainly looks that way so far this season. And oh, well, let's take a look at this sitch, because we got a pretty nice game from my guy, Mitch. Now, he pulled the game out. It was really quite a thriller. But to put him in the lineup would be kind of a killer. But not this guy. Show me Anthony Miller.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm totally on board with Anthony Miller. I mean, ever since Taylor Gabriel went down last year with an injury, Miller has stepped up and started to fulfill that potential that we thought he could have. And this is a fairly narrow passing game. You know, Allen Robinson's going to get his targets. Anthony Miller's going to get a ton of targets because Mitch loves throwing to the slot. So I'm totally on board. Plus, the matchup against that Giants secondary this week is a pretty good one.
I do love it. Like, I'm on board with Anthony Miller. He was one of our preseason sleepers. The thing is, with Allen Robinson wanting to get paid, I feel like Mitch is going to do the right thing and give him 55 targets, and that's it. And that's the only guy he's going to throw. And you know what? I fully endorse it. If we lose the game and Robinson gets paid, that's enough. All right. Okay, shaking it off. We got one more. This guy has the heart of a lion. And he wasn't the running back who dropped that ball and left Detroit crying. So show him some respect. I forgot the rhyme. Anyways, show me Mr. Peterson. Adrian Peterson. I should have written this down. Sorry.
You know what? I'm not on board.
Oh.
I'm not on board with Adrian Peterson this week. It was interesting to see him bounce back and have a really good game, which surprised a lot of people. But part of it was that the Lions were in a position in the second half to be in a run-friendly game script. I don't know if that's going to happen this week. I think they're going to be playing from behind against the Packers, and so I just don't think Peterson's going to get quite the volume we saw in Week 1.
There's a Ferris Bueller reference. Okay, whatever. You know what though? The one thing that I was really impressed about was the way he was running the football. He led the NFL with carries over 10 yards. I'm not sure it's going to be able to come against the Green Bay Packers because their defense looked pretty good. But still, if the Lions can control the clock in this game, I think that Adrian Peterson could be somebody that you might be able to start in a flex mode.
Yeah, I still think DeAndre Swift gets a pretty big workload this week. We'll see. Anyway.